Hi, everybody. Well, it is turnaround day for me today. I am staying on the Sun Princess for 3 more days with the travel agent and media cruise. A lot of people think it's all fun and games on the cruise, but if you looked at my schedule, you would see I'm in meetings almost the entire time I'm on the ship for the next 3 days. So I'm kind of excited to partake in room tours and media and see some of the suites that I haven't seen before on the Sun Princess, etc. I'm in the exact same category of suite, a sanctuary mini suite right now. It's a completely different design than I was just into. At least it feels like it. Yeah, it is. But I just wanted to talk about a little tip that I have for you. If you are taking a repositioning cruise, like a transatlantic cruise that I just took across from Southampton. When you get to the United States, there are far more stringent border checks and Coast Guard checks, etc., for that first sailing. So I've been on multiple transatlantic sailings or getting on a ship right after it did its transatlantic sailing. And one thing remains pretty much constant. It's going to take longer than normal. And what I mean by that is we pulled in early this morning and passengers were waiting to get off starting at 7 o'clock. But here's the thing. When it's the first sailing arrival and everyone came from Southampton instead of leaving from the United States, they don't do facial recognition when you get off the ship. So they have customs officers that all 4,000 passengers plus crew have to go through. So that takes a lot longer than the facial recognition does. So we were constantly backed up this morning. In fact, it was noon by the time they started getting the passengers there were about 20 of us who were staying on the ship. And we had to wait till every single person was off the ship before we were allowed to go down and come back off. So that was at noon. Now, a lot of people show up at 10 o'clock to start getting on the cruise ship. But it's also a replenishment day because we just did 18 days at sea without getting a lot of provisions on board. So they're restocking. We ran out of lettuce. We ran out of Diet Coke. We ran out of various things, bananas, etc., etc. They need to get them all back on board. And there's more stringent Coast Guard regulations and safety regulations that they're checking. They come on board during the crew and observe the crew doing their safety drills, etc., all before they're allowed to put passengers onto the ship. So there were people lined up outside starting at 10 o'clock waiting to get on the ship, and they didn't start letting them in, even into the building of the terminal, until 3 o'clock. So 5 hours standing out, and it was pouring down rain out there today. I felt a little sorry for everybody that was out there. So that's a hint and a tip. Usually the cruise lines will let you know it's going to be a late embarkation, but people show up anyway thinking, oh, how late can it be? Well, 5 to 6 hours later. It is now 5 o'clock, and there are still hundreds of people lined up to come on the ship. And it's still going through security, etc., to get on this sailing. So it's not a quick, smooth embarkation, shall we say. I've been watching people who are joining my group on WhatsApp, and they're texting each other, and they're now saying, we're not going to probably not make the cock. And don't forget, Princess gave them a drive from the hotel and everything to get here, so it was all prepared and everything, but embarkation's taking longer. And so they're even saying they're not going to make the, welcome to the Sun Princess get together tonight in the sanctuary, because by the time they get on the ship, they're going to have to change for dinner because it's formal for us. We have to be dressed up for these events. And I'm going to myself, well, I hope you brought formal in your backpack because you might not have your suitcase or anything yet. Because even that was late starting to get on the ship. I don't see any suitcases in the hallways right now. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, lots of meetings this week. We're going to do room tours. We're meeting the 13-time world champion pizza maker that's sponsored from Princess. Chef Rudy's on board. He's going to be doing a demonstration. John Paget is going to be talking to everybody. We're going to hear more about the Star Princess. I'm curious to see if they're going to make what changes they're making to the Star Princess. I know they switched around all the restaurants. Crown Grill's in a new place. Dario's. Butcher Block is in a new place. Rudy's is a new place. So a lot of changes have come. Park 19 has been torn down. It's you no longer see the glide system that was up there. It's all gone except for the bases that are still up there remaining. So a lot of changes have happened, and I'm curious to see if we announce on this trip what they're going to replace Park 19 with and what they're going to do with that sort of thing. So yeah, it should be very curious, and I'm glad I was on the ship, because if I was arriving, I'd be one of those people who normally would arrive, because you got to be out of your hotel by a certain time, right? And I would usually take the first shuttle over, and then I would have been waiting outside in the rain for like 5.5, 6 hours, and then line up through security, and then get your medallion and get on the ship. It would have been interesting. And it's not Princess's fault. It's the way things have to do on transatlantics. Repositioning cruises happens all the time. Even if you're not on the transatlantic, you're on the first sailing after the transatlantic. That's the one that has all the issues. Compound that with the port being closed for a few days, etc. And yeah, absolutely a long day for those people outside waiting in line. But at least when you get on board, you can sit down, have a coffee, have a drink, have dinner, relax, and enjoy this beautiful ship. At least I hope you think it's beautiful, because if you're soaking wet and drenched and standing outside for 5 hours, you might be in a grumpy mood by the time you get on board.